So drainage in the Red River Basin is critical to farmers and landowners, especially during that spring cropping season. And probably the most important time for inadequate and consistent drainage is in the fall. And over the years, the watershed districts have improved drainage for the landowners and the taxpayers. And the flood projects that have been done, coupled with drainage projects, have really helped improve drainage and also to reduce downstream impacts.
You know, the Red River flood is like a big amoeba. It doesn't go fast. In the very northern parts, you hear about the southern area flooding, and you won't be flooding in the northern end for maybe a month. The drainage part of that, if you're in the north end, you can get water off of the landscape before that. That's an improvement.
People don't understand the intricacies and the engineering and everything involved in some of these projects. It's an extensive process that until you really get involved at this, you don't realize the intricacies of what goes through to actually propose then a project. People maybe think these are done hastily, that they're put together with only certain things in mind and certain people to benefit, and that's not the truth at all. It's really done in a comprehensive way. It gets input from a lot of different areas, and I think that's what makes it successful.
There are many drainage rules in the Red River Basin, and depending on where your land is located, that will determine which you follow. And then depending on the project you're doing, you may need to get permits from U.S. Fish and Wildlife or the DNR. And so as a landowner with a project, you may be dealing with multiple layers of permitting.
The watershed doesn't instigate anything, we respond. And when landowners, it has to be a certain percentage of the land involved with the drainage area, come to us with a petition, they have to pass certain standards on their petition before it's even considered. And then engineers come in and do a study, and then we hire viewers to determine benefits and damages. And then the DNR and the pollution control, everybody gets involved, and we have to have permits, all of these little hurdles. And it makes the land more profitable and easier to farm.
One of the districts that I work with on drainage systems, we do an annual inspection to see what sort of maintenance is out there, maybe what adjustments have to be made to the system to make sure that they fully function the way that they were intended. But in addition to that, there's an ongoing procedure for individual landowners. If they notice that the system is having challenges, they have a maintenance application policy where an individual property owner can come in, put in a maintenance request. The watershed district then will go out, view what the request is, and ultimately 9 times out of 10 make the improvement to ensure that the system is functioning as originally proposed. Over the years within the basin, there's been a couple of different groups that's developed papers really focused on trying to have future improvements or future drainage systems take into account the technology as we know it today versus when systems were implemented maybe 100 years ago. Well, these papers take the science that we've gained over the last 100 years and propose essentially some small modifications to how we do the system so that the systems function better to either maintain at a minimum or ultimately improve the water quality of downstream waters.
Being we send our water to Canada, we have a problem with nutrients. You know, they're checking it, and we're really working on that, and we're actually teaming up pretty good now with the Canadians on how we can come up with ideas on how to fix these problems before they get to Winnipeg or up into Lake Winnipeg. The biggest thing, if we can educate people on how they use their nitrogen and all that, and it's coming. I mean, we're working, like I said, you know, you go up north, up into Canada, they're really stressing this problem, and they're really working on it. And down here in Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, we're really working on trying to fix these problems that we have.
Regarding the drainage work group, that group is comprised of ag groups, watershed groups such as Minnesota Watersheds and the Red River Watershed Management Board, There are drainage engineers that attend, environmental groups, state agencies, and several different partners and stakeholders. The work group is really an important tool to take a look at how these proposed changes to the drainage law come to be.
Being on a citizens advisory group, which all the watersheds have, and that's important because that allows people from all parts of the watershed to come together in a setting where they are not a watershed board member, but are a very concerned person on what is going on, whether it be positive or negative in these projects. And that's a very good way to get involved early. Or else just going to a watershed district meeting, getting on the agenda. A lot of times the boards are very receptive to some of the concerns of some of the people out there. That's why these watershed districts are successful, is because they deal with the people that are involved within their district, and that's very important.